This is my notebook. It's got a pen in it and a pad.
And it's a pad within a notebook.
It's a pad, and there's a book in the pad, and it's got my initials on it. My wife got me it.
Oh, that's nice.
And I thought it was a bit a bit much.
I quite like it, but it gives you an air of sort of a aging detective.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's got that lovely kind of red, sort of burgundy colour.
Yeah, there's a few names in here, actually.
But what's lovely, is you've hidden a contemporary notebook inside your flash notebook.
So the notebook
It's like
suited this is finished.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I've got like a modern thing hidden in it.
Well, that always happens, doesn't it? Around, you find that like around Christmas time, people get you a notebook, and it's always that moleskin paper.
Yeah,
and it's
This isn't that, but yeah,
exactly. But it's lovely. But there's something about writing stand up on fine paper. That isn't what the tree died for.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's just like, you're just
feel
going,
like,
fanny farts are funny, aren't they? Like, do you know what I mean? Of like, like you could just feel the tree going, I
can feel like the farmer that grew the trees being like ashamed of what. This is not what I intended for my babies.
Yeah.
But I love the reason I've got it is because it's my stand-up notebook.
Mm-hmm.
So like, stand-up has to be there in some form.
Yes.
And also in this sort of like more ever modernizing age, like computers, AI, I still have to write on a notebook. There's something about putting ideas down in a notebook that I just feel that you couldn't do. Like, for example, the other day, in the back of this, because I didn't even think it was going to be like stand-up or anything, but I just thought it was quite, in the back, I've just written down examples of moments in your life where your brain goes, be normal, and then you can't be normal.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So I just don't think I would get a laptop out and then make a new Word document and do that.
Yes.
But like there, I was just writing down one. Like, do you know, like stupid examples, like when you're sitting in A&E as a healthy person. So like I'm thinking, oh God, being in the dentist. Or have you ever done the thing? I wrote down, yes, on the way here I wrote down, like, when you're lying in bed with someone new and you realise you've not breathed for a minute.
Wow,
Have you ever done that?
No. But
Have you ever been like lying next to someone for the first few dates and you're like, you're so conscious of like every aspect of your being?
Yeah, I mean, I was the other way. I was with sort of like farts and stuff like that, and sort of like I remember just kind of going on dates with my wife early doors and then just going to the toilet and just farting like somebody had like stabbed a hippo to get just all the air out. Do you know what I mean? That somebody had put that hippo through some compression machine, and it just needed to be like, you know, the Last King of Scotland.
Yes, when they give, I die in breath.
Yeah, the Idi Amin. You know. But I remember that. But breathing. That's deep.
Maybe I'm a bit, but I used to. My wife used to think I always went into her bathroom when we first met to do farts and stuff. I used to wash my feet in her bath because I was worried that my feet smelled.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah,
I used to do that every time for months. She thought I had like, do you know what I mean, a wheat allergy or something.
Yeah, it's one of the magical things, isn't it, about when you meet somebody new, just being able to rummage through their shower gels. Do you know, I used to love that. I used to love that in Edinburgh at the festival, where you'd have other comedians' girlfriends come up and you'd be like, sweet mandarin, don't mind if I do.
Oh yeah,
like that, and you got to sort of pilfer through all their wares.
That's the first time any comedian ever had mint shower gel.
This
was
is
when the fellow comedian's girlfriend visited.
Yeah. Steve Williams, his wife, would come up, and I'd sort of, listen, this could come across that I was smelling her on the regular, but I was always...
You weren't doing it regularly, just every now and again.
I was aware. When she sort of entered the room, I was like, that's interesting. And I got up early one morning and really went to town on her shower gel, and it was that minty. That's an experience, isn't it? First time you put that mint.
And we're both going to say it.
Yeah, go on.
On
say it.
Count of 3.
On your
1, 2, 3. Testicles.
But it is that, and it's not unpleasant.
It is. I remember hearing that probably through most of the things like that I hear are normally stand up.
Yeah.
They put in the minty shower gel on your genitals.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember the first time I did it, I was like, Wow. I also know, like, now that I'm in like a relationship and stuff, I used to watch obviously stand up obsessively when I was a kid, and I'd go to comedy clubs. So there's all be older people talking about relationships, and I'd find it funny, but obviously it made no sense. And now I look back at like sets of like Frankie Boyle talking about like being married and all that back, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
yes,
It's fun, isn't it? Yeah. It's so funny, those topics that just meant nothing to you as a kid, and then suddenly you're talking about them, and you're like, oh, I've become that guy. I've become that girl. And it's sort of, do you find yourself using a lot of your life when you do your stand-up?
I can't use any, like,
Must
I
be
can't
difficult
use
for you.
anything else. Yeah.
But also presumably because you're kind of public.
Yeah.
It must be that thing of, like, there must be notes in there where you're like, well, that's really funny, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
There's a lot of running it.
I'm conscious of that as well, like where I don't want to misrepresent people.
I found that there's two elements to that for me. So the easier one to answer is like, genuinely with age, when I was in my 20s, I would say anything about anyone and be like, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And I think I sort of, because I thought it wouldn't bother me, but now I'm a bit older, and maybe because I've had things written about me, I realise, oh yeah, people saying stuff about you that is, I never said anything on stage that isn't true, but you would use a bit of like poetic license or whatever. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm actually very aware of being true to that person and not stitching them up. And then also the second thing is that, like, that if you say something daft on stage, it might end up as like page 27 of the whatever newspaper.
What's the strangest headline that you've read about yourself?
Oh, 100. Like there was 100% when I used to do a bit of material, like, not, do you know what? It wasn't even a material. It was like a throwaway thing. I was like getting interviewed like the Edinburgh TV Festival or something, and it was about getting the people loved it, and I suppose it is funny. I've not actually done enough on it, but like my voice is obviously a lot more famous than my face, so like I can pretty much get about anywhere without, as long as I don't speak.
Yeah.
But the minute I say anything, meerkats, like,
yeah.
Which is I don't know many people that have that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's you and the late great Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
but
he was never in the running for the Love Island job, was he?
Well, turns out he does Love Island.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It was a bit too old. Wow. But you're right though, eh? So
So anyway, I said a throwaway comment in this interview. I went, oh yeah, like it's a nightmare phoning the bank. Like, you phone up the bank and they go, oh, are you the voice of Love Island? I'm like, yeah. Can I exchange? Can I extend my overdraft by £100, please?
Yeah.
And also, there's a big article that like Iain Stirling's skin having to extend his overdraft.
Oh my God, is that what it was?
Yeah, and like he admitted in front of a room of, and then also the funny thing about stand-up is it is mental, right? Out of context. So it's like he admitted in a room full of TV moguls that he needed to extend his overdraft, and I'm like, well, yeah, I did actually.
Yeah.
But I was obviously kidding.
Yeah, it's funny.
So yeah, that's a funny one.
Do you ever feel like swapping your accent out, like in case you don't want to be recognised, because you could pull off sort of Norwegian?
I could do I could
do Canadian.
I could speak in Norwegian, but it'd still be this accent. But I can do. Well, I spend a lot of time in Liverpool.
Oh, so you could do a Scouse.
I could do well.
But you got to run up to that.
Yeah, and also I spend enough time in Liverpool to know that a lot of cities would find it charming you having a go at their accent.
Yeah.
Liverpool wouldn't find it charming.
But also, then the story could be in the paper that Iain Stirling from Love Island was seen outside of Starbucks practicing how to say, "Can I have a latte, please?
Can I have a
Can
latte?
I have a latte, please?" It's a latte. You've got to. I always if so you like that's your base, right? Maybe like I'm here, right? I'll have a fucking latte, and then you're fine. But then no one orders a Starbucks like that, and you're like, well, latte, please, mate, frothy coffee.
They would think is like a type of milk or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. But it's so funny as well with Liverpool. I'm always so worried about talking about Liverpool because I've worked I feel like Liverpool is like a cat. In that most cities are like dogs. Like when I go anywhere, they're like, "Oh, thanks for coming," and we have like a nice time. Whereas like Liverpool, you've got to like really work hard, and also I think they can smell it off me how like I really want to be like accepted by them and be them.
Yeah, but it's funny. I like that analogy of them being like a cat because they you got to work a little bit harder. But if you win their love, you'll.
Oh, there's nothing better than a. There's nothing better than.
But there is the
gig in
chance
Liverpool.
that City could show you its arse.
Yeah.
And just walk away and just look over its shoulder.
When I was tour support for Russell Kane, I have never, because I was at that point, I've always supported Liverpool since I was younger.
Yeah,
but I've been to
right.
like a few games, and I tried to open with some stuff about like, oh, what's funny round Anfield, all the buildings and stuff.
Yeah.
Having there like 2,000 people just went, absolutely not. Shut down. And then it was just 19 minutes of just trudgery. And I learnt my lesson that day.